Good morning, my name is Rob Palmer and I'll be presenting my research proposal today on high performance action sports. Action sports. My interest lies with the management of sport as a whole, but particularly action sports. I've been involved in managing sports and athletes for the last 12 years, and previous to that I participated in mainstream sport as a junior right through to an elite athlete. I've always had more of a passion for action sports than mainstream sports, found on telly every Friday night. I love participating, competing and spectating every type of action sport. A few examples of sports are mountain biking, snowboarding, rock climbing. The term action sports I will use throughout this paper. They are also commonly known as adventure sports or extreme sports. Now, recently my interest was piqued. Found in a single question in a document released by the CSIRO in 2013. The document title is "The Future of Australian Sport." And that question is, are high-performing investment models adaptable enough to take advantage of change to emerging sports such as skateboarding, rock climbing and surfing? Now, with action sports having such a high participation rate and attract large audiences, they're especially popular with younger generations. For surfing in particular, the Outdoor Adventure Sports Australia has relatively high per capita participation rates and performs well in international competitions. In the Vancouver Winter Olympics, Australia won gold in the women's halfpipes and aerials. Before other new adventure sports gain Olympic status, there may be an opportunity for Australia to develop a competitive lead on other countries. The question for Australia is whether they can move quickly to establish a competitive lead in action sports, which may find their way into the Olympics in the future. Now, with the recent introduction of BMX into the Summer Olympics and board-across, halfpipe and slopestyle into the Winter Olympics, all have been participating in the X Games for many years. How far away can skateboarding events be to the Summer Olympics? On the other hand, would skateboarding becoming an Olympic sport be exactly what it should not be? A structured, well-regulated sport. Now, in the background, there is very little research into the management and development of action sports and their development of their athletes. In one study by Wheaton in 2010, he found that the growth of action sport culture is gaining popularity, and it began in many countries in the 60s or 70s. This is a direct quote from his paper. "It was a time which saw many middle-class participants embodying counter-cultural philosophies and rejected traditional sports and embraced free, fun, cooperative and individual activities." Now, Halskovitz in 2013 found that the past 5 decades have seen unprecedented growth in participation and visibility of action sports. The continual evolution of action sports is a factor. While some of the mainstream sports have experienced a decrease in participation rates over the past decade, lifestyle sports have been growing in popularity. A direct quote from Halskovitz's paper: "It is estimated that over 150 million people worldwide participate in action sports. These sports are gaining most traction with Gen Y, born 1978 to 1995. However, the data on many lifestyle sports remains scant." The evolving product of action sports is an exciting area to study. Due to entities such as Red Bull, they have almost single-handedly created a lucrative action sport or extreme sport product. By introducing the relatively unknown adventure sports to the general public through amazingly talented athletes, it is one of Red Bull's marketing strategies. They state, "Red Bull's universe is extreme sports and adrenaline junkie stunts. Red Bull is a publishing empire that also happens to sell a beverage." Now, a second group that has studied action sports is Collette and Russell. 2009, their paper found that it was clear that mainstream sports have developed differently over time in comparison to action sports. Collette and Russell found through interviews with stakeholders of the skateboarding sector, it showed an industry with the following characteristics: a lack of formal structure, largely unregulated, overlapping rules of suppliers, participants and programs developers, not highly dependent on government funding for survival, very attractive to entrepreneurs, and lifestyle products such as video games, clothing, music are integral to the industry. Other key findings from the study relate to the vision of facilities, programming for sport development and pathways. To demonstrate the growth of action sports in Australia, according to the Future Australian Sports Study, on average 2 skate parks per week have been built in Australia since 2005. This indicates a clear growth and demand. The aim of the study is to analyse action sport high performance and management strategies. There is currently no study specifically relating to action sports and their strategic goals. Research question. The main question I want to answer is, with the increase in participation in action sport and the stagnant participation in organised mainstream sport, can high performance action sports assist mainstream sports with strategic development? My hypothesis is, due to the growing popularity of action sports and at the rate at which action sports are evolving, strategic advantages will be found that mainstream sports can benefit from. For my method, I plan to use 5 Australian mainstream sports, and I will look to their national sporting organisations' recent annual reports and strategic plans. These are publicly available online and found at their respective websites. The sports will be rowing, Australian Football League, swimming, touch football, and Hockey Australia. All these sports are recognised by the Australian Sports Commission and must submit strategic plans and annual reports as part of their funding agreements. In the review of participation figures, key performance indicators, and sports reinvestment will all be reassessed. 5 action sports will be assessed in the same area: strategic plan and annual report. These 5 sports are snowboarding, mountain biking, skateboarding, surfing, and rock climbing. These sports are also recognised by the Australian Sports Commission and receive annual funding, and therefore will be able to provide an annual report and a strategic plan. The risk is that the sports selected are too similar, in that they have recognised bodies funded by the Australian Sports Commission. The limitations to this will be that the annual reports produced by the NSO may truly not reflect the non-organised participants of the action sport. And to overcome this, a series of interviews with development managers, team managers, and/or athletes will be held. And if a sport is unavailable in person, a series of questions will be put forward via email to the contact within the organisation. Now, limitations will also be found if the person is not the best contact for that organisation, and do they best represent what the study is asking? Can they give me the information I need? So if I cannot contact them via phone for an interview, questions such as how much time do athletes spend in organised competitions versus non-organised competitions? Is the sport moving towards a more structured model? Will the sport begin to develop junior development programs and structured coaching programs, just like the mainstream sports? And currently, how are participants recognised for high performance programs? What's the talent ID, selection policies, etc.? Content analysis of action sports websites in comparison to mainstream websites, monitoring for social media presence, language used, visual effects, any standout differences will be looked for here. E.g., is the sport telling their participants what they want or asking for feedback and input? In the case where telephone interviews may occur, participants will receive a participant information statement inviting them to participate. They will be instructed to contact the research to arrange a time for a telephone interview, or the participant information statement will inform them that the researcher will call to inquire whether or not they would be interested in participating. In regards to consent, participants may either return the signed participant consent form to the researcher before the interview, or if the consent is to be obtained orally at the start of the telephone interview, the researcher will submit a draft of dialogue which will be read by the participant to seek their consent. Previously, in examining the current management and investment strategies within action sports, analyse participation rates, investigate external influences such as media and sponsors, compare traditional action sports and their elite development strategies, I believe that by completing these mentioned points, it will deliver a currently understudied area of action sport management. Now, there is a rough guideline for the research. I am studying part-time, so I plan to use the 3 years to complete the research and analyse the development strategy of NSOs in action sports. This will be completed by December 2015. Analyse participation rates of mainstream sports and action sports, completed by 2016. Examine the external influences being media, marketing segmentation, and review investment strategies of the NSOs in action sports will be completed by June and July 2017, with the aim of the whole research paper to be completed by 2017. I'd like to thank you for listening to my research proposal and look forward to the questions. Thank you.